I feel so sorry for my therapist because she's also a black woman. Oh! I'm so happy I knew to schedule her on today. But also, I'm like, sister, what do you need from me? What do you need from me on today? This election is a fool. Do you hear me? My God, today. Guys, these people have lost their minds. Their minds have been lost. Baby, when I tell you, I knew last night, but I was trying to keep the faith. I was trying to keep the faith. Let me just say this. As a person who has worked in politics my whole life and has not worked in politics in the past 4 years, I can tell you intuitively, I knew intuitively that this was not going to work out. I am a person who is left of Kamala. Okay? The U.S. foreign policy has absolutely unequivocally ruined me. I will probably never be the same. Okay? Over the past year, I, as an active member, I registered people to vote in high school, registered people to vote in college. I voted in every single election down to the ward president in my district. I am an active voter. I donate, I volunteer. I am a person who considered not voting in this year's election like a year ago. Not because Joe Biden was too old, but because of the foreign policy of the United States. Did Kamala energize me? Yes, she did. Did I believe that Kamala deserves to win based on her credentials? Absolutely, I did. Was it complex for me based on the domestic and foreign policy? Absolutely. And maybe I'll do a separate video on that. Because I am not even aligned with their agenda. But I am a never Trumper. I was absolutely never, ever in a million years going to vote for Donald Trump. And I know people think, oh, economically, you're doing well as a black person, then somehow that means you should vote with your purse. And black people who have means and black people who are upper middle class or whatever, they will vote for Trump because of tax. Sweetie, no. That was never going to be me. I don't care how much money I have. I don't care how much money people think I have. I don't care how much money I actually have. I was never going to vote for Trump. I'm not conservative. I'm not a Republican. Maybe it doesn't necessarily align completely with my lifestyle, but politically, I have always been progressive. So there was no chance that I was ever in a million years going to cast a ballot for a Republican. That's number one. Trump, number two. It was never going to happen. And it wasn't that I was believing the media, but I live in an echo chamber. Everything around me politically aligns with me almost. And so I never really hear about what white people in middle America, working class white people in middle America think. I really don't have white moderate friends, women friends who are deciding on who they're going to vote for. Like, that's not my reality. The people around me are too, like, they know exactly what to do. Like, they are 10 toes in. Do you understand? And so I'm not saying that it's shocking to me because obviously I know the America that we live in. People voted for Trump already, so I knew that was a reality. But it doesn't make it any less jarring. I knew it was possible. I know that America's disappointing. I know that America fails consistently on group projects. I know that America is racist and misogynistic and sexist and patriarchal and xenophobic and problematic. I know all these things. And yet somehow I was still shocked. I was shocked. The political person, like, this is literally the morning after the election. I have to log off the internet. There is no way that I can function, even on my social media feed, the entire feed is sorrow. People are grieving. People are going through the 5 stages of grief. People are sad. People are they're anxious and uncertain about the future. I am anxious and uncertain about the future. Like, I am so anxious and uncertain about the future, and I am so disappointed. Not only am I disappointed in the country, I can't even say I'm disappointed because I was never appointed. Hello? I don't even think I ever had the faith in this country that this could even be possible. Right? Like, to be honest and fair, I was one of the Americans that was like, when they were like, oh, Joe Biden needs to resign. Joe Biden shouldn't run for president for the second term. Like, you know, I was one of the people that was concerned that the Democratic Party was not going to even allow Kamala to run because she's black and because she's a woman, in this country does not have a good history of that. President Obama was seen as an anomaly. I knew when white women did not have the capacity to elect Hillary Clinton in 2016, the capacity was not there for Kamala. No. I am filled with so much rage. Like, the people who are my friends today who are not expressing rage will probably not be my friends tomorrow. Do you understand? The things I want to say, I cannot say. The things that I want to say, I cannot say. I cannot say. Not on the internet. I will say I'm in my group chat. Let me talk about my daughter, because that's who I'm really grieving for, is my daughter. Again, I want to stress to you all who might be watching this, who may not know me politically, that this for me was a mainstream conversation and a mainstream fight that I actively participated in, even though the values of this candidate did not align with my values, what I saw domestically and foreign policy wise. But it wasn't like the choice between two evils. It was really like, I mean, I guess it was a choice between two evils. But it was ultimately, for me, this is so deeply problematic. This is so deeply problematic. Like, I am a never Trumper. I will do anything to not have Trump. That's how I felt about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever was in my political wheelhouse, whatever was in my capability, whatever leverage that I could pull politically, maybe economically, to not have Trump in office, I would do that. Right? And I wanted to do that, right? Like, that's why I phone bank. That's why I donate. That's why I voted. That's why I made sure that people around me voted, right? Like, I'm civically and actively trying to prevent someone who does not politically align with my values and how I see the world and how I see this country to become president. Period. I think that my daughter felt that, but she also, like, would actively choose Kamala anyway, right? Like, she was actively happy and joyful. Like, yes, I think intuitively or intellectually she knows that representative politics is not going to save us, right? Like, I know my daughter knows that. I raised her to understand that representative politics, a person who matches your race and your gender, may not necessarily work on your behalf. Look at Fani Willis. Hello? Like, look at Fani Willis, right? Like, there are black women who are not necessarily aligned with your values, right? And that's how I felt. But my daughter felt very much aligned, right? She felt very much aligned. She felt very happy. She felt very joyful in this moment. And what I said to her last night, before, it was a red mirage, which always happens. But then the red mirage to blue wave is so short, like, you know it's happening or not. Like, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, you start looking at the trends and you notice that the centers, like the Philadelphias, the Milwaukees, the Flints, the Detroits, are not turning out. Or you see, like, Dearborn, Michigan is turning out for Jill Stein or third party, which is well within their right to do. Once you start seeing those trends, like I did, because I'm a political person, I knew where this was headed, right? I was not in the early stages of people like, what's happening? What's happening? Why is Iowa going red? Iowa was going to go red. Do not let these white women make you think that they were going to do anything differently. That I was not believe. It's always up to the battleground states. Georgia, was going red. Virginia went blue. Like, I was like, okay, there's a tip for tat. The downside was like she needed to sweep Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And that, you never wanted to get down to that. That's what it got down to with Hillary Clinton. It's the same exact map that Hillary lost to Trump. Trump can apparently only win if a woman's on the ballot. Trump can only win if a woman's on the ballot. That's my analysis, one of my many hot takes. My daughter was so joyful. She was so excited. She's at Spelman College, all women, all black women. She was excited for what this means for HBCUs. I think she was excited about the representative nature of it, right? She's allowed to have joy, even if she has skepticism. We are allowed to have joy, even in the midst of our skepticism, like for this nation, for the policies that she may have implemented. We were allowed to feel joy, and nobody's going to make me feel bad about that. Nobody's going to make me feel bad that I woke up to a country that's just as scummy and trashy as I thought it was. Nobody's going to make me feel bad about that. And I said that to my daughter. You are allowed to feel joy. You are entitled to want to be chosen and to feel like this was representative of you being chosen. You are allowed to do that. Don't let these people who are realists and pessimists try to tell you that you are not allowed. You are allowed. You are allowed. You are allowed to be ambitious. You are allowed to go for the top job. You are allowed to shoot for the stars. You are allowed to be qualified and overqualified and still go after the job and not settle for second and not settle for third. You are allowed it. And you should. Time after time after time, you are allowed it. And also, you are allowed to grieve. Even if you knew this was going to happen, you are allowed to grieve. Even if you thought this was a possibility and you allowed yourself hope, and now you've been let down, you are allowed to grieve. Even if you feel foolish for feeling like you've wasted your prayers to God, hoping that this would be a different outcome, you are allowed to be upset. You are allowed to be angry with God. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to believe that this is a product of the devil. You are allowed to believe that this is the product of people's active decisions to vote against you, your body, your bodily autonomy, your interests, your ambition, your job prospects, your love prospects, your ability to roam freely in this country. Like, you are allowed to be in despair about that. You are allowed. And don't let people rush you to a conclusion. Don't allow people to rush you to like make sense of it religiously. Don't allow people to rush you to make sense of it intellectually or emotionally. Like, this is what I said to my daughter. Resist that. You are allowed. Stop. People shouldn't be telling you, yeah, we're going to grieve and we're going to fight. Like, you are allowed to not fight. You are allowed to not go to the protest. You are allowed to choose you. You're allowed to choose rest. You are allowed to say, this was my last and final act for the American people. Y'all can suffer. You are allowed. You are allowed all your range of emotions. Even if you are like, you know what? I'm going to focus on my money. I'm going to focus on my people. I want to be apolitical. I don't want to be political in this moment. You are allowed that. Like, you are entitled to that kind of generosity and peace, black women. You are allowed it. Please allow yourself to take off the cape and stop trying to come up with solutions for this country, for your city, for your state, for everyone. Stop. Like, I'm talking to myself because my instinct is to fight or flight. My instinct is to be like, bye, I'm out. Knowing that no country is perfect. But you have embarrassed me on today, America. You have embarrassed me on. See, now I'm embarrassed. See? And so I can't stick around for the embarrassment. You get what I'm saying? I was already putting things in place for myself personally, but no matter where I am in the world, I obviously can't escape my ethnicity as an African American, my country of origin and nationality as an American, and the history and burden of being American in the world and what that means for the rest of the world. I can't escape that. I really can't. Emotions are running so raw. I am so disappointed. I am emotionally burdened. I refuse to allow myself to be intellectually burdened in this moment. I refuse to allow myself to come up with a solution for a country that was offered a solution and they chose differently. Never underestimate the collective stupidity of the American electorate. Never underestimate. Let me tell you something. When a country shows you who they are, believe these people the first time. I really don't have the words. I'm blocking people as we speak. I'm blocking people as we speak. Delete, block, don't contact me again. Delete, block, do not contact me again. Like, some of y'all need to understand you don't have the intellectual rigor. You do not have the emotional capacity to engage in these conversations online. And so you offering solutions in the form of anything, religious comfort, emotional stability and emotional comfort. Hug a black woman today. Don't hug me. I wish you would come over here after the night I've had and hug me. If you really love a black woman, you'll Cash App one. Hello? Hug a black woman on today? And all these posts are like, I'm so sorry, black women. I'm so sorry, black women. I'm so sorry, black. Why do you feel sorry for black women? Why do you feel sorry for me? Because we dreamed, because we hoped, because we were intellectually prepared, emotionally ready, because we were ambitious, because we collectively put our morals and values on the line and voted. Even if we didn't agree 100% with the foreign or domestic policy, we always do what needs to be done. But you feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for us. I feel extraordinarily and extremely proud. Extraordinarily and extremely proud. I feel sorry for you because you thought that you were different than us. You thought that this country would politically protect you because you thought that the policies that we have been facing generation after generation somehow would escape you. But you're about to find out how abundantly untrue that is going to be for you and yours. The thing about me and the thing about us is we have historically always survived. I said this to my daughter. This is going to be tough. It's going to be challenging. This is going to be bad. It's going to be worse than we can even imagine. It is. We have faith. We have each other. We have community. We have culture. And we are survivors. And we will absolutely survive. Absolutely. Absolutely survive. And might survive in a way that will astonish us all. We will survive. It's you girls. It's you girls sending out the I'm sorry black women. I'm sorry to you. I feel sorry for you. Hello? I feel sorry for you. You're the one that's going to suffer, sweetie. See, we always had contingency plans. The contingency plan has a contingency plan. You girls thought you were getting out scot-free. And that's the problem. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. Because you girls was like, I don't know. Who should I choose? You girls were undecided. Me and my sisters, we were never undecided. never gave undecided. It never gave down to the wire in the last minute. It never gave that. Because I know you for your works. Because not only did you actively, with full agency and freedom, choose this crazy, you chose a crazy Senate. Then you turned around and chose a crazy House, knowing that we have a crazy United States Supreme Court. When I tell y'all I don't deserve what's coming to the United States of America, my daughter does not deserve this future. My mother, my brothers, my husband, the people that I care about, we don't deserve what's coming to the United States. But you girls deserve it. Goodbye, good night, love you, bye.